What better way to deal with pre-doctor jitters than doing a reading on how humanity is managing today? Because I'm going to the doctor, there's nothing more than tea farm gunpowder tea in here, for sure. Okay, the emotional card is strength. And how do we gain emotional strength? We challenge addictive patterns. And one of mine that my children kind of have seen and have talked to me about is my social media addiction. Now, some of us that rely on the likes to do business, let's say, because that's how nobody likes your stuff, you're not going to be able to sell anything, and that's how I, can bring something to the table. But I didn't know, like from the time I got my latest iPad and the other one, I didn't know that you could turn the notifications off. So you're not on the bell constantly with strangers. Anytime they say something, you're on the bell, on the bell, on the bell. And I didn't actually know that we could become addicted to that as well. And so my son, this one, Jacob, who just turned 23 this past weekend, showed me how to turn the notifications off. And I can't tell you how much more calm I am. I actually read a book. I read an entire book in like 2 days, like how I used to be before I got so enveloped in everybody's everything that's none of my business anyhow. And it's not that I love, like for me, I love seeing my friends and their children and all that kind of stuff. I adore that. I adore that. But what I think is there's so much that's none of my business that all of a sudden, because of social media, it's my business when it's still none of my business. Like people's personal lives are none of my business. And I am equally guilty just for the sharing. Like I share a lot of stuff, but I share it because I've always thought that it will just end up with my grandchildren as these little time capsules, right? Because you're probably like, well, why on earth would you start a YouTube channel if you can't handle social media? And it's not like I can't handle it, but I want to paint even more while I'm completely able to. And I hope that's until I die, actually. And I feel like we gather so much personal insights and downloads when we can actually spend some time alone. Like my favorite thing in the world that people don't really know is that I like my feet in the soil. I like to garden. I like to try and keep things alive. Not that I always do, but I actually like to attempt to keep things alive. And that's what pulling away from, like designating certain allotments of time for those things as well. The mental card is achiever, right? So if we start seeing these weird unconscious patterns, which I have to tell you aren't easy to get over and make you feel not particularly special or enlightened when you're actually dealing with them, but I can see how much more I can get done and in less time being completely here now and focused. I want to be focused in my life. I want my children to have my undivided attention. I want my friends that I adore to have my undivided attention. And I want to keep doing work that surprises myself. Like I want to keep challenging myself and surprising myself. And I just feel like social media like, I don't know if many of you have seen how many things you actually liked last year. It came, the data, I don't know how I saw that. But when I saw how much things I liked, I thought, what could I be doing that's a contribution other than just, having like spamming everything? What could I do that will actually transform on this level, being focused on the here and now? We're all, my peers are children of the 70s, and we could have a stick and a few stones and be occupied for hours, and I'm not saying that children today are wrong. I'm saying that maybe our souls need different things. Maybe the newer souls coming in are completely can get everything that they need from being technically inclined. But I think a lot of us came to Earth to actually experience Earth, to love Earth. Like, I'm a complete lover of the Earth, and I came here for a lot more than just to hang out online all day, every day. So the physical card is aspirations. So, and there's people that are light years ahead of me. Like, a lot of my friends are light years ahead of me on this. This is just my own personal thing. If you think it's bullshit, that's totally fine as well. And I want to aspire to spend less time absorbed, because I'm finding that what is surfacing or spiraling around is constantly negative, and I can't overcome it. I didn't get out of bed until 11 o'clock today, and that's pretty late for me. Not when I'm not feeling well, which I haven't been, but it is late. It's a late start to my day, which means that now my day started late, so it will end late because I still have deadlines to meet regardless, right? And the spiritual card is the reverse seeker. So what that means is that it's not a time for all of us. This is completely contradicting, but I think that you'll understand what I mean. It's enough of the introspection that's been going on. We actually need to get outside of ourselves, to get in groups. I mean, there's all sorts of women's marches this week because of that thing that's going on in the States, that I'm not going to name names, because we need to turn the focus on to what is going to make us amazing right now, and stop giving so much energy to the chronic bullshit that's out there right now. Okay, so the feminine card is synergy, and I think that it will mark a time for, I had no idea that these marches were going on until then.